I want you to listen to the rest of this because I'm telling you, as a guy who's around teleprompters, as a guy who writes his own material, and then has people like Stu say, that's probably too much. You probably shouldn't say that. And then I know, and I get on stage, and I know what Stu has said. I change it in the end. Ronald Reagan did the same thing. Ronald Reagan, you know what was not in the speech? Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That was not in the speech. He was supposed to. He had it in the speech when he was at the White House. And his advisor said, take that out, Mr. Reagan. You can't. President Reagan, you cannot say that. It's too in your face. Or I'm going to say it. No. Every single time they would rewrite the speech, they rewrote it on the plane at the White House, on the plane. 3 copies, I think, came to him on the plane. None of them had Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall. And he said, put that line back in, Mr. President. You can't say that. They had every advisor on the phone with him all the way over to Germany. The last speech they handed him and put on the podium did not have it on there. And he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. So, as a guy who understands this and how speeches are written and how speeches are given and how a really effective speech giver thinks. If you watch my speech pattern, I'm telling you, you can hear it as well. You'll hear when I'm thinking. And let me show you what's going on in the mind of Barack Obama. He's about to lie, start at the very beginning. He's about to lie, so he'll say,
You know what? I might be worried about all this money being spent.
He's reading.
If it wasn't for my memories of previous campaigns.
Okay, stop.
Previous campaign.
He's now saying this. He's now saying something that is fantasy land. He doesn't have those memories. That's what's written on the paper. He does not have that memory. No, don't laugh at this. This is a serious analysis on this guy. Okay, he doesn't have that memory at all. So he's now saying words that have been written for him, but he wants to make it sound like it's good. All right, go ahead.
That first campaign I ran.
Stop. Start from the beginning. That pause is very important. And what you're going to hear in that pause is thinking. He's looking at the teleprompter, and he's thinking to himself, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. He's thinking to himself what he wants to say.
Yeah, because this isn't enough.
This isn't enough.
His first campaign, big deal. Of course, he was outspent in his first campaign. Who wasn't?
Watch this.
You know what? I might be worried about all this money being spent.
Not his words. Now
if it wasn't for my memories of previous campaigns.
Read the next line. It's not far enough. It's pissing me off.
That first campaign I ran.
Stop. That's not enough. He's now about to go off prompter. I guarantee you, if you looked at the script, he's about to go off prompter. It's not enough.
I'd love to see if that's true.
It's not enough. So he adds this line.
Last campaign I ran in 2008.
Stop. That's him. I remember some other campaigns that I ran. My first campaign, Senate campaign, 1996. Guarantee, if you look it up, I guarantee he was outspent there.
Or even earlier than that, yeah.
Whatever his first campaign, guarantee he was outspent. That's the loophole that the people like Stu said, put that in.
And I would never let you make that mistake of saying in 2008 you were outspent because it's so easily disprovable.
Yes.
Even if you wanted to say it, I would change it every single draft.
I wouldn't want to say it because it is untrue.
I know.
But I want to say things like, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And Stu stops me from saying, Glenn, that could start a nuclear war. Okay? Don't say those things.
And sometimes it has.
Right. Okay? So that's where but I know, and Stu, you know it too. You've watched me speak, and you know when I'm getting to a place where you're like, oh, we've argued about this, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
Oh, totally.
Totally. And you'll see me pause on stage or pause on the air. And if you're a longtime listener, you've heard me pause on the air before I say something. And that's me evaluating all the voices in my head, not my voices, the voices of all the people who have said, don't say things like that, don't say things, don't do it. And I'm like, screw them. And I say it anyway. He does it as well. He really believes he's the Messiah. He really believes that he can say and do anything and no one will check. So he's like, they think I need to stick around and I have this little loophole of 1996 or 94 or whatever it was. They need a little loophole. Watch this. I don't need any loophole. No one will check. So he goes for it, and he puts that line in. That last campaign, 2008, not in the script. Guarantee you not in the script. 2008, I dare you to check. Watch me. No one will check.
I've been outspent before. I've had a lot of money thrown at me before.
Stop. This is back. Hear the emptiness in his chest?
Mm-hmm.
This is him back on the script again. I've had this happen before. I've had this back on the script. He's just reading words somebody else wrote. That's what that whole thing is really all about.
That's fascinating. I would love to see the script. I mean, I guess there's no way that's ever going to happen.
I'll bet you.
And sadly for him, we did look it up, and we just re-looked it up, and he was outspent how badly in 2008?
Two pieces of evidence here. This is first from the Washington Post. Talking about the 2008 race, Obama raised an astonishing $771 million, while McCain brought in $239 million, a total that included roughly $85 million in public financing for the general election. So it wasn't even $239 million he raised. He actually got $85 million for free. So it was even really more dramatic when you think about it that way. And the other one from factcheck.org, who posted on the week of the election.
Who was the first one?
Washington Post, which is, if you remember what Robert Gibbs told you to go check whenever you wanted the truth about Obama. Secondly, this is factcheck.org. Question: who spent more money on advertising, McCain or Obama? Answer from factcheck.org. Overall, Obama has outspent McCain by nearly 3-1, but in the closing week, it's been closer to 5-1. So when it really counted, he outspent McCain 5-1 on television.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
And he tries to pull off the line that he was outspent in 2008.
He just doesn't care about. I mean, this guy does not care about the truth at all.
If you reelect this man is completely out of control because he doesn't care about another election, and he has learned he can say anything, and it doesn't matter. Now his supporters will say, "Well, that doesn't matter. Oh, he's just doing it." No, it does. When you have a president that has manipulated the press so much where he has no fear whatsoever of saying, you know what, I'm going to make up history now. I'm just going to tell you something because it's going to fire my base up. I've been outspent before. No, Mr. President. In 2008, you outspent 5-1 in the final weeks, 3-1 for the whole campaign. Don't try to paint yourself as the underdog then. He needs the money. If this guy, look, he needed the money last time because nobody knew who he was. He needs the money this time because everybody knows who he is. It should cost him less money to be reelected, not more. Less money because we know who he is now. And if we liked it, we'd flock to it. Build a better mousetrap. He hasn't. He's just built a really good trap.